And welcome back to the Premier Sports Campus, Lakewood Ranch, Florida, between Sarasota and Bradenton for the final of our USAFL semi-finals fixture for this morning. We know in D2 it will be the DC Eagles versus the Philadelphia Hawks. Now for Women's Division 1. Seattle has beaten New York, so Seattle are through to the grand final. Will it be a rematch with the three-time national champions, the San Francisco Iron Maidens, or will their opponents, Minnesota Freeze, make it through to the grand final and get revenge on last year? Last year, San Francisco was red hot. Minnesota took it right up to them, and if it wasn't for two wobbly kicks that did Minnesota in the end, they might have just caused a boil over. Will we see the history repeat and have that thrilling semi-final, or will San Francisco throw down the hammer? San Francisco had a nasty fight against Seattle in the late game yesterday. 2-0 was the scoreline. You heard me right, 2-0. Sounds like a soccer scoreline. But it was a drag-it-out game against Seattle. Was that the wake-up call that the Iron Maidens need? For Minnesota, they had a bit of a struggle against the Portland Sockeyes, and then they went down by 1 point to New York. So for Minnesota, they haven't had a great Saturday. Can they turn things around on this Sunday morning? Peter Holton with you for Women's Australian Rules Football Radio. It's a privilege to have your company. I'm flying solo for today's game. Just a reminder as well for those that want the D2 Women's Grand Final. That game we're hoping to get recorded for you and upload at a later stage. For the Women's Division 1 Grand Final, the winner of these two will meet Seattle. That game will be 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and that will be on ESPN3 for North American audiences. So if you're in the USA, you can watch it on ESPN3. Subscribe to that, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, along with the men's finals. And I should note for those that are outside the US, it is geo-blocked. However, at some later stage, it will be uploaded as a replay for you. But you can keep a track of the scores by going through the USAFL Facebook page or USAFL 1997 on Twitter. Umpire holds the football aloft, the siren goes, and we are underway in the second semi-final for Women's Division 1. And it's between the Minnesota Freeze and the San Francisco Iron Maidens. Immediately it's the Freeze coming out of the back by Segalo, who tries to move it forward. Wanted to try and get into a running. Kathy Oha couldn't quite pick up the football. Still at the half-forward flank here for the Minnesota Freeze. Umpire blows the whistle and says too high, free kick. And it's going the way of the Freeze. They're attacking left of screen. There has been a breeze to that end of 1 to 2 goals, and it has been the scoring end today. Running away with the football there is Jessica Nelson, the Admiral. She turns the football over. Julia Marks is there, managed to try and get a little hand pass away. All of a sudden, here comes the heat, and that isn't Kathy O'Hara who rolls over the opponent. Pardon me, it was Georgie Adas who rolled over opponent. The umpire said it was too high, and it will be a free kick. Going the way here of the Iron Maidens. And I think that's Sarah Maggione who's got the football, who goes up the line. Went through several sets of hands. Nicole McKenzie came charging out at the football. Couldn't quite get correct contact. Hurry kick scrambled forward towards the half-forward flank. Stoll Lane comes out to meet the football. Umpire says in the back. So Annika Stoll Lane, who we saw yesterday with an interesting kick over her shoulder. Now we'll try and drive the ball forward here for the San Francisco Iron Maidens. Looking ahead for some options. Gets on the right boot. Looking for Estrada Finlay. Missed her. Coming in to try and lay the tackle was Johnson Chambers. Umpire circling. Blows the whistle and now calls for the ball up. Apologies, there's 1 or 2 coughs. A bit of tickle in the throat from the air conditioning from the hotel over the last few days. Brett Brown doing the ruck work there for the Iron Maidens. Ball at ground level, now trying to dance the way through. There was Paige Kicker. Works out towards the back pocket. Chasing after it is Parasakala. Pasakala now goes attacking the football right up against the boundary line. O'Hara going with her as well for the Freeze. It's fast-paced football early on. Georgie Adas came from out of nowhere and immediately pulled down her opponent. Umpire says the handball out was fair. Pack quickly forms, centre wing, out of side. Waiting for the ball to squeeze out there is Catherine Mullen. Mullen, it went through her legs. The Freeze are moving it frantically and they're keeping the ball away from the Iron Maidens. That's a surprise to see early on. Mullen now goes long up the line towards the half-forward flank. Nothing really on there. Seeing it over the boundary line and out of bounds, I think might have been Claire Colleran. And we'll call for a throw-in at the half-forward flank for the Minnesota Freeze. Winner plays Seattle at 3 p.m. Eastern Time in the grand final on ESPN3. Produced by the team here at Go Live Sportscast as the ball is thrown back into play. Good bounce with no ruck hitting it. There's the hand pass, smacked forward. Trying to get involved there was Wynett for the Iron Maidens. Heavy traffic jam. Going in the low brute tackle there is Sagala. Squeezed out. Lurking around there was Elise Gallagher, one of the premier midfielders of the competition. Umpire's blown the whistle and says he'll call for a ball up once more. We'll reset the play. Mania being moved onto the ball here by the look of it for the Iron Maidens. And in fact, it wasn't a ball up. It's a free kick that he's pulled out there. We're blindsided to the signal. Catherine Georgiadis on the right boot. Umpire says play on. Goes inside 50, and Katie Klatt is back there to take the mark. Katie Klatt, originally out of Sacramento, actually originally is a Virginian. Played with the Sacramento Suns in her debut in the USAFL. Then, of course, played for Melbourne University in the VFLW competition. Looking for Mania on the far side of the ground. Estrada Finlay came pushing up the ground, but again, the Frees sent it back towards their forward line. Was trying to find the Admiral and Jessica Nelson. And the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. We're about 35 metres out from the Frees goal. It's 0-0 between San Francisco and Minnesota here in the Division 1 first semi-final right here on Go Live Sportscast, USAFL.com. We wait for the umpire to throw the ball back into play. Spinning back in. Bring it to ground there, doing the ruck with Paige Kicker. Iron Maidens try and come out of defence. Lutz got through. Heavy traffic. Put the right boot in. Now the foot race is going to be on there. Brett Barrows, the big body that's coming towards the football. Picking it up first is Lizzie Even. Even's trying to fight with it with Brown. Brown went to ground. Even kept the ball in front of herself. Couldn't quite pick it up. Had support in there by Sagala. Sagala tries to knock it on. In comes Oha. Oha dropped it cold. Umpire missed it. Play on is the call. Hand pass came out hurriedly. Trying to get in there is Kathy Mullen there for the Minnesota Frees. Everyone jumps on. Throw a handkerchief over 6 players. And we'll call for a ball up. Centre wing out of sight of the ground. 0-0 between San Francisco and Minnesota. Umpire throws the football up. Penny doing the ruck work there for the Iron Maidens. Ball hits the deck. They all jump on it. Umpire just throws the hands in the air. Says, I'm not going to blow the whistle. You try and get it out. Eventually, he has to break the stalemate. So we're on centre wing, far side of the ground. We could almost call it the Richner wing in honour of Jess Richner, who's the AFLW player from the Brisbane Lions who played for Boston in 2015. Katie Klatt goes in there. Couldn't quite get it out. Looking for a hurried hand pass out of the pack. It's squeezed out. Well done. Good work there by Grace Cooper to try and knock it forward. Umpire blows the whistle and signals as too high, and it'll be a free kick going the way here of the Minnesota Frees. And Catherine Georgiadis is saying, go towards centre half forward. We have a target there in Connor Lewis. You've got to go in her direction. And that's what she does. Connor Lewis, though, overran the ball. Goes into empty space. They try to trap it in here. The cavalry arrives. Trying to get back there is Sarah Maguillon for the Iron Maidens. Maguillon goes in to pick it up. She's got some heat coming at her from Jessica Nelson. Her kick is wide. Now, is it on the full or does it throw in? Boundary umpire on the spot says throw in by the look of the signal. And no, it is out of bounds on the full. We'll just wait for confirmation. No, he's asked for the ball back off the player, so it will be a throw in. If the umpire raises the hand above his head, it means a throw in. If the arms are out either side, it means out of bounds on the full. Free kick to the opposition. Trying to go in there was Catherine Oha. Couldn't get it out. Now the Frees. Look at that burst of speed on the right boot going towards the dangerous spot. 25 metres out from goal. It was a finger tipper. It got away, but it will go through for 1 point, and that puts the Frees ahead in this low-scoring contest. Minnesota 1, San Francisco 0. That's Minnesota 1, San Francisco 0. And the ball to be brought in from full-back. Long, awkward kick here. Margaret Leone finds Julia Marks. Marks with the football at the half-back flank. Oh, that's a dicey kick. Had the numbers there 2-on-1, but that didn't do the teammate any favour. Sagala gets in there as well as one of the other players there for Minnesota. Just don't quite have there on the sheet. And the umpire says we'll throw the ball back into play. Penny Nguyen does the ruck work, gets front position, but punches it towards the back line, finding Sarah Maguillon. And her kick goes over the boundary line and out of bounds for a throw-in. 55 metres out here from the Minnesota Frees goal, going to left of your screen. Back into play. Catherine Georgiadis try to pick it up. Maguillon goes in with her. Hands and knees, they try to scrap it. They look for the rugby maul style, rip it out by Georgiadis. Couldn't quite do so. Coming in there is Mullen. Ball squeezed out towards the side. Julia Marks running after the pill. Marks in front, trying to do some blocking work on Paige Kicker. And the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. So the breeze advantage with the Minnesota Freeze for this first half. They lead by 1 point. This is the 2019 United States Australian Football League Women's Division 1 second semi-final. Winner meets Seattle at 3 p.m. Everyone's jumping on top of the pill, and the umpire says, we got to break it up. And we are going to restart play. 55 metres out from goal. Throws the ball high in the air. Kicker versus Nguyen in the contest. Hack chop kick out of the pack, close towards the boundary line. Chasing it after there, Francesca Mania. Comes in late to the contest. Georgiadis had it, lost it, and she tiptoed it. But either way, she moved it forward about 20 metres. So there is some advantage to that. Player pulled down without the ball. Georgiadis goes in there again. Trying to get in there is Margaret Leone. Hurry kick, rejected it away. Mullins put her hand up, couldn't quite hang on to it. Page kicker almost threw the ball out one-handed. Umpire said play on. Now the quick hand pass away. Lindsay Steen now goes inside 50. Ball bounces away. Katie Clack committed early towards the football. Connor Lewis is there. Got 3 Iron Maidens coming at her. And the umpire says contact was high. So free kick going the way here of the Freeze. It's with Connor Lewis. Very close to the player on the mark. She's now backing up. She has the ball a long way out from goal, kicking from somewhat what you'd say the normal arc would be about 45 metres out. Couple of steps, gives it a roost, and it's away to the left, but it increases the score. 2 behinds for Minnesota, no score for San Francisco. That's Minnesota 2, San Francisco 0 here in the Women's Semi-Final Division 1. The kick back into play. High in the air. I think it was Lottridge who kicked the ball back into play. Mark being taken here by Sarah Maguillon. Maguillon with the football in the back pocket. Looking to go around on the right boot. It's long and it's high. Again, they're staying to the fat side of the ground on the outer side. Knocking it away there is, well, Lottridge who's chased up the ground now. Close towards the boundary line. Going with there is Pascalia. Now the hand pass coming backwards here for the Freeze. A few players get bumped around, including Grace Cooper. Katie Clack gets the football, swings around on the left boot, coming out of defence. Now finds Elise Gallagher. Gallagher on the right, want to come in towards the central corridor. Look out! Here comes the player charging down there, and Caitlin Lutz. This is going to force the turnover. Looking to find Estrada Finlay. Estrada Finlay couldn't hang on the ball. Gallagher put it on the right, going towards the one-on-one. It's Bauer versus Evan. Evan gives Bauer a bit of an old shove out of the way, and the umpire says no acting required. That was a big old heave. Free kick going to Brett Bauer for the San Francisco Iron Maidens. 55 metres out from goal, kicking into the breeze. Right-hand side of your screen. Goes on the right boot. Going long. Is it Red Best? It's juggled back there. I think it might be Becky Crafty. Got the hand pass over the top. Hurried hack jump kick by the Freeze in the middle of the ground. Going through there is Katie Clatt, who overran the football. Going with her was Grace Cooper. Clatt goes in to try and lay a tackle pressure put on by Colleran. Got it out to the Iron Maidens player who pumped it along up the line. That player was Elise Gallagher and managed to find Brett Bauer. Bauer's a long way out from home. She's about 52 metres out. Bauer on the right boot. Kicked it straight into the player on the mark, and Lizzie Even nearly pulled down Bauer's shorts. Hand passed away to Colleran. Colleran goes long, looking for Estrada Finlay. She had it. It went through her hands. Pressure still on here on the goal square. Trying to get in there to pick it up is Mania. She got absolutely bowled over. Johnson Chambers goes in there. She's laying on the deck. Couldn't get the hand pass out. Estrada Finlay goes in to wrap up the tackle, and the umpire says, I'll take the pill back. Exciting semi-final action. Minnesota 2, San Francisco 0. First half football. Brower knocked it forward. And now the hurry kick around the corner. It's going to be met here. Picking it up, getting the hand pass away. Colleran did well to Gallagher. Gallagher unloads, looking for Estrada Finlay. Can she pick it up? Gets absolutely bowled over out of the way. The Freeze defence somehow holding up at the moment. I think that might be Marks is trying to chase things up, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. Minnesota 2, San Francisco 0 here in the Women's Division 1 second semi-final. Winner meets Seattle on ESPN 3 at 3 p.m. Eastern. Ball is back into play. Up against the boundary line. Attica Stoll Lane tries to square things up. There is absolutely nothing on there. And Pascalia will now take the ball away for Minnesota. Her kick, though, ain't that flash. Finding a number of San Francisco players who turn it over because Sharon Pascalia chased the football up. She managed to knock it a good 30 metres forward. Now, is the umpire ruling here a free kick to the Iron Maidens? He did, but that at least relieved the pressure. But the ball was deep, 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 deep in the San Francisco forward line. On the right boot, going up the line towards the half-forward flank position. Overrunning the football, going after her is Ray Hale. She's good, rain, hail or shine. Now gets across to Georgiadis. Georgiadis finds the intended target at the half-back flank. You can hear the cheer from the Breeze bench. Here's the long kick up the line towards the wing position. It got knocked away. Now trying to go in and pick up the football here for the Freeze. The umpire says that could be in the back, and it is. And just trying to spot the player there. I think it might be Jennifer Seas, who now go for a play on. In fact, it's the 67 in Richardson, pardon me. Here, Richardson pumps it long inside 50. Juggling around there, Connor Lewis worked it well. Katie Clack put her head over the football, close towards the boundary line. Grace Cooper goes in there for an effort at the football. Cooper, good smothering work, and the ball is over the boundary line and out of bounds. Could we be on the verge of an upset? We still haven't reached half-time. Minnesota really took it to San Francisco in their semi-final last year. It was a thriller. And we're in for the same on the menu again. Julie Marks, her kick almost ended up in the massage tent. Out of bounds on the full free kick going the way of Catherine Ohar. Ohar with the football, 55 metres out from goal. Here the scoreboard kicking to left of screen. Her side leads by 2 points. On the right boot, now goes up the line. Good mark back there. And I think that is Sarah Maguillon, who's back there, who's taking the mark. She goes with a chip kick, looking for Klatt, who's under pressure. Cue the Queen and David Bowie music. Klatt's long kick up the line, but it's easily picked off and marked. That could be Jason Chambers back there, who's now going for the kick up the line, trying to find Ohar. Ball bounced away from her, trying to take him on Elise Gallagher, who got caught immediately in heavy traffic. I think Maguillon's pushed up the line. Close towards the boundary. Freeze keep it in play. The kick, nothing really on here at the half-forward flank. Oh, Colleran's over around the football. Klatt taken without it. No, holding! Umpire said had it momentarily, and that is enough for holding the football. He's hot on the whistle there. Free kick going the way, I think, of Cooper for the Freeze. Awkward kick, but gets it going quickly, nearly down the throat of Katie Klatt. The cavalry arrives. Castillo there for the Iron Maidens. Bumped away from there. Maguillon's there. Richardson tries to hack it out. Can't do so. Georgiadis got it out to Cooper, who almost gave it straight away down the throat of Margaret Leone. Heard the voice and went, oops, you're the opposition. Now trying to get there is Mullen. And the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. Exciting football action here in this Women's Division 1 second semi-final for a date with Seattle. The Minnesota Freeze leading the highly fancied San Francisco Iron Maidens. The kick, looking for the boundary line by Margaret Leone, sees it over and out. Minnesota 2, San Francisco 0. Perfect conditions for football. It might be steaming down heat, but the ground is nice and smooth, allowing for a run and open play. The ball's back in there. Nguyen versus kicker. Big tackle laid on. Spilt out. Screaming forward is the Admiral. Nelson went through her hands. Going in there is Mullen. Immediately wrapped up. And the umpire will ask for the football back. What a tense affair. But we do remind you, Minnesota are kicking with a slight breeze. It has been the scoring end here. Is it enough? Or will they have to park the bus in the second half? The kick is off the side of the boot, out of bounds on the full, but still getting a big applause there. We're gaining some metres as we wait for it to come back into play. I think it's Sarah Maguillon there deep in defence. She'll run the ball back in. No one on the mark, so she can take an extra few metres. Kicks it looking for Gallagher. Knock out of her hands. Kicker sends it straight back in the forward line. This is going to create the pressure. The numbers are there with the Iron Maidens if they can work it out. Klatt has the football. Klatt on the right boot, close towards the boundary line. And Julie Marks, and now she'll get going quickly. It's Wagons Ho, and then she moves it up the line, looking for Estrada Finlay. She was second in the queue. The ball knocked away from her hands. Georgiadis is calling for the football. She's going to run into three, but she got her hand pass away in the nick of time, according to the umpire. Huge pressure on at the moment as Steen goes to ground. Georgiadis comes in to lay the tackle. Pressure football at its absolute maximum here at the moment. Umpire just keeps throwing the hands in the air, says let it play on. Mullen, hurry, kick away. Gallagher takes it, no 15, got to play on. Gallagher going for the one-on-one, even versus Brower, and Brower again gets good position. With the mark, Brett Brower. She's between centre and centre half forward. Waiting for the numbers to get back. Kicks it long. Here comes Estrada Finlay off her chest. Couldn't quite hang on to it. Mullen is doing the shepherding work over the ball when she needed to really go in and pick it up. Savannah Green is there, being a little bit quiet. She tries to squeeze the football out. Everyone's fighting in for it. Umpire blows the whistle and calls for the ball up. Wind again picking up towards the left-hand side. Minnesota 2, San Francisco 0. Ball is thrown high in the air. Kicker wins out in the contest. She was going up against Margaret Leone in that ruck. The change has been made. Gallagher tried to get a hack job kick out of there. Didn't go anywhere. Picking up the football is Colleran. Immediately goes to ground. McKenzie. In fact, it was Stoll Lane. Brakes put on her. Hurried hand pass coming out. Ohar juggling. Nguyen goes with her. Ohar. Interesting hand pass. Hurried kick goes back, but only as far as Margaret Leone. Leone tried to kick around the corner towards the forward pocket, looking for Estrada Finlay. Dances around one. Estrada Finlay goes for the hand pass, once for the 1-2 back, doesn't get it. Her teammate and Brett Barrett kicks it away from her because she was being under tackle pressure from Lindsay Even, and the ball is over the boundary line and out of bounds. Clock ticking away here in the first half, not too far away from the halftime siren. Lutz tried to get a hurry kick out of the pack, went nowhere. Still heavy traffic. Brower tried to get a hurry kick out. Stoll Lane. Ball knocked out of her hands. No in danger, according to the umpire. Play on. Still chaos ball at the moment. Trying to get a hand pass out. Colleran, no good. Now into the corridor. Hurry kick. Gets pulled off the football. Now Lutz. Oh, has it got the distance? Has it bounced? It has! Lutz with the goal for San Francisco. Right on the half-time siren. Ouch, that's got to hurt. San Francisco 6, Minnesota 2 at half-time. San Francisco 6, Minnesota 2 at half-time. Minnesota were doing so well to keep out San Francisco. And then on the dying seconds of the first half, Caitlin Lutz with a snap. The ball bounced in the goal square. The defenders were too far up the ground. They tried to race back. They didn't read the ball well, and it went through for a goal. 1 straight 6, San Francisco. They have the 4-point lead and the wind as they go into the second half, leading Minnesota 2 behind. 6-2 here on Go Live Sportscast, the Premier Sports Campus in the Women's Division 1. Second semi-final. The winner of this match has a date with the Seattle Grizzlies at 3 p.m. on Field 1, which you'll watch on ESPN 3. Going through some of the better players so far for the Minnesota Freeze. The usual suspects, Georgiadis, Ohar, Pasacala. She's been picking up a fair bit of the football. Nelson, Muller, Lewis, kicker. Even had been doing a good job in nullifying Brower. Cooper in the forward line have been doing well for them. Across to the Iron Maidens. A lot of ball in the back line for Sarah Maguillon and Katie Clapp. They were under pressure in that half. Also trying to stand up and making the pressure was Margaret Leone. Elise Gallagher not getting as many clear disposals as she'd like. They've got many guns, but some of their guns have been rather quiet. We're going to find out what happens in the second half. Right on the other side of this, you're on Go Live Sportscast. It's San Francisco 6, Minnesota 2. And welcome back to the Premier Sports Campus at Lakewood Ranch, Florida for the 2019 United States Australian Football League National Championships. This is Women's Division 1 second semi-final between the San Francisco Iron Maidens and the Minnesota Freeze. The winner of this game will go on to play the Seattle Grizzlies in the Women's Division 1 Grand Final coming up at 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN3. Peter Holden from Women's Australian Rules Football Radio with you for the call. Also, we should mention in the Women's Division 2, the Grand Final will be between the Philadelphia Hawks and they'll be taking on the DC Eagles. That game will not be live streamed, but we're hoping to record it for you and have it uploaded at a later stage. Again, we should mention that the Women's Division 1 Grand Final on ESPN3 is for US audiences. It is geo-blocked, so if you're from outside that area, it will be posted at a later stage on a replay. Full results, etc. will be posted on the United States Australian Football League Facebook page and the Twitter at USAFL 1997. So as we begin the second half, it's San Francisco 6, Minnesota 2. San Francisco 6, Minnesota 2. The Hooter sounds. We have got 20 minutes left. Can San Francisco hold on and book that date with Seattle and defend their title and go for 4 in a row, or will Minnesota cause the upset? They try to go with the attack there in the Iron Maidens, but it's been sent back from whence it came. And trying to get over the top of the ball, which was O'Hara, who gave it back. Oh, good spoiling work there. Having to dance around there is the player in Segala, who goes up towards the half-forward line. Cooper going there with Katie Klatt. Katie Klatt is brought down to ground. Incorrect disposal, but the umpire calls play on. In goes Maggie on. She's finding hard for the football there, and the umpire will ask for the football back and will call for a ball up. We are between centre wing and the half-forward flank here for the Freeze. They are kicking into the breeze in the second half. Up goes Paige Kicker. She wins the contest versus Nguyen. Going through and picking up the ball is Margaret Leone. Leone now drives the football forward. It dribbles along the ground in towards the centre square. Player numbers back there for the Freeze. A kick towards the Kicker direction. Paige Kicker takes the footy. Defensive side of centre. Nguyen stands the mark. Kicker now on the right boot. It's a massive spiral punt as it goes up the ground. It bowls over a few players. It got out the back. Can Pascala get on the football? Pascala overran it. Now trying to get in there is O'Hara. She overran the football as well. Colleran as well wants to jump in. Mullen is lurking on the outside of the pack. Georgiades fighting for the pill. And the umpire will take the ball back and call for a ball up. We are 55 metres out from the Freeze goal. We've already got one San Francisco player just a bit out on their feet behind play. Now the hurry kick away there by Colleran in towards the centre of the ground. We should mention it's Lutz that's flat on her back at the moment as the kick is taken away there by Marks, who kicks it in towards the forward 50. Estrada Finlay waiting for the football. Can't quite get on the end of it. Get bumped around, waiting for it there, Segala. Segala is now going to pick up the ball for the Freeze, goes for a run. Segala now on the right boot, going up the line, just forward of the two centres. Now coming through there is O'Hara, couldn't hang on to it. Under pressure there was Katie Klatt. There goes Margaret Leone, who got dragged to ground. Klatt picks up the football, shanked off the side of the boot. Now towards the two centre circles is Catherine Georgiades, sitting on a kind of pass, but got the hand pass out. Managing to find Segala, who ran down, but managed to get some momentum going forward. Grace Cooper rode the bump very well, worked it sideways. They're building here the Freeze. Umpire says play on. Felt it was almost dropping the football. Hurry kick by the Iron Maidens. This one is trying to find Stole Lane. She's immediately wrapped up in court. Hurry kick around the corner doesn't go too far. Segala with the football. Send it back from whence it came. We're between centre and half forward flank here for the Freeze. It's ping pong. It's going back and forward like you own an Atari. Now drives up the line looking for Estrada Finlay. She can't get front. Posley ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. We'll call for a throw in. On centre wing, far side. San Francisco 6, Minnesota 2. The winner meets Seattle in the grand final. Ball is thrown up in the air. One out by Paige Kicker. Waiting for it is Georgiades. They can get it out to her. O'Hara is there nearby. On the bottom of the deck there, I think would have been Steen. They try to come in towards the central corridor. Looking around is Gallagher. Again going in there is Mullen. Came out. Gallagher goes with a double-fisted slap forward. Ball sees Steen go to the deck. Heavy traffic at the moment as Georgiades goes on hands and knees. Can't extract it. Rugby Mall style, it somehow came out to Steen, who go with a hurry kick forward, finds a mark on the wing position. Now they swing it inboard. They've got to be good here. They've got to stick with Connor Lewis, but she overruns the pill. The numbers were there with the Iron Maidens, and they kick it towards centre half forward, looking for Barrow. Got a nudge from Even. Are they going to clean it up here out the back? Johnson Chambers now on the right boot. Kicks it out towards the centre wing broadcast side. They do have a little bit of time here if they're patient through Steen, who now kicks it long up the line, looking for Cooper. Got knocked away from her hands. Players go tripping over left, right and centre. Umpire says trip. Ooh. And a free kick going the way of Grace Colleran. So Colleran with the free kick for San Francisco. Sucks in the breaths. Time is their friend. They lead by 4 points. We played 20 minutes straight with no time on. Here's the kick up the line. Non-committal there was the player. Steen knocked away from it. Umpire says it's high tackle. Georgiadis with the resulting free kick. Kicker's maybe a little bit too close to her, but is calling for it wide. Georgiadis just goes long up the line. Here comes Maguillon. A target. Sarah Maguillon kicks it inboard. Coming through there is Mania. Mania taken to ground without the ball, and will get a resulting free kick. In fact, no, dropping the ball. Well, there you go. Interesting interpretation. She was actually arguing the point, going, I thought it was my ball. Interesting umpiring interpretation. I think they call that practical umpiring down at the AFL. Kicker ran into trouble, but managed to get her kick away, looking for Cooper, who almost took out Julie Marks on the way through. Feel free to put your head back on your neck. Katie Klatt on the right boot. Now goes up the line, through the hands there of Mania, who came at the football. Here's the don't argue. Now goes for the run on the right boot. Long up the line, awkward bouncing football, knocked away there by Cooper. Hand pass back to Klatt, now wrapped up there immediately by Ohar. Trying to get in there and extract the ball was Mullen, was unsuccessful. Head over the football and hand pass out by Colleran. Had to concede ground going through Klatt. Klatt looks for the 1-2 and gets it back. Swings on the right boot. They're going for the switch towards the outer side, and the kick is good. Finding the player out there. I think they found Annika Stoll-Lane, who's now going to hurry up and go for the high, long kick inside forward 50. Brow was backing back, had it momentarily knocked out of her hands. Everyone's going to jump on the pill. It's hands and knees type stuff at the moment. Brower goes in there. She's ripped down by Segala. Another brilliant tackle laid on there. This time, I think, by Georgiadis. Umpire allowing it to go on. Finally blows the whistle and calls for the ball up. 45 metres out from the San Francisco goal. They lead by 4 points. San Francisco 6, Minnesota 2. Minnesota led for all of the first half, bar the dying seconds when San Francisco got a goal through Lutz. Close towards the boundary line now, being seen over, I think, by Pascal. No, still kept in. Had support from Nelson, who came in to lay a bump. Squeezed out. Cavalry arrives here for the Iron Mates, the Costello. But now it's kicked away by Nelson, going up the line, finds the crucial mark. I think it's kicker out there, who goes for the play on. Draw the player towards her, got to find the mark, and does. It's Cooper. Oh, not paid. Oh, my goodness. My hat, umpire. And it will be a ball up. Throws the ball up in the air. Away we go again. One out on that occasion by kicker. Either that or she dropped the mark when I looked away at the sheet for the crucial moment. If that's the case, then I'm a goose. Then Katie Klatt kicked it in towards the central corridor. Going to be sent back from whence it came, maybe by Segala. She got brought to ground. Katie Klatt moving it with Nguyen. Got on the Marks, who goes for Estrada Finlay, who can't quite run all the football. She's got 2 to beat here. Lizzie Even is front of the contest. Estrada Finlay buries herself underneath the contest. Swinging around here, Brett Barra immediately lost the football. Estrada Finlay goes to ground, though. She squeezes the football out somehow. Castillo got through one, didn't get through. A sea of freeze, and the umpire says that's holding the football. Free kick going the way of the Minnesota Freeze, and Catherine Georgiadis now works it to Paige Kicker. Kicker has beaten one. She's got to try and beat 2. She goes for the soccer skills. That could be potentially in danger. The umpire says no. Kicker still going up the line. Kicks it forward, looks to gain metres. Now, is it out of bounds on the full or a throw in? We'll wait. The boundary umpire says out of bounds on the full and gives it to Katie Klatt. So Katie Klatt of the San Francisco Iron Maidens. Her side up by 4 points, 6-2. kicks it up the line, just bouncing off the chest of Pasakala. Looking at the clock, I've got it unofficially as about 9 minutes. So we're almost at the halfway mark of this second half. Here's the hurry kick. It's sky high. It almost brings down rain. It got out the back door. Lizzie Even is there. She goes with it. Oh, geez, the kick across the face. She was very hesitant attacking that football. Now the foot race is on to try and get to the pill. It's very close to the boundary line, about 10 metres in. Going their hands and knees for Savannah Green. It gave it across to Estrada Finlay. Goes for the one-on-one, looking for Brower. Brower took the mark. Is it paid? No, it says it was touched in the contest. The umpire screaming, play on. And the players are frustrated and will call for a ball up. Let's reset play. 15 metres out from goal. Throws the ball high in the air. Even was doing the ruck work then with Brower. Hand pass going backwards. Oh, it's a dangerous kick. Costello with a shot on goal. This is almost the nail in the coffin. It's touched. They still are breathing the freeze. They trail by 5 points now. San Francisco 7, Minnesota 2. San Francisco 7, Minnesota 2. One straight kick, one goal by the freeze can steal a win. They've got about 10 minutes to play with. But they've somehow got to find a target inside their forward 30. The long kick by Kicker back into play. Parked herself underneath it. It was Margaret Leone. She could have set up a picnic blanket. She had so much time and she owned that much real estate. Margaret Leone now goes in the forward 50. It's sent back from whence it came. There's a real problem for the Freeze. They could get bogged down in their back half. Mullen marks, takes it though. Klatt got out of trouble once. Showed a burst of speed. Now they're opening up Seri Maguillon. The Freeze are breaking down. No one's running. They're all standing still. This is not looking good for them. Estrada Finlay puts the goal through. And I think that might have just killed off the Freeze. 2-1-13 to 2 behind. San Francisco 13, Minnesota 2. San Francisco 13, Minnesota 2. Now they need 2 goals, Minnesota. You could see what was coming. You could see players were bogged down in their back half when they needed to be running up and creating something. And when they were all standing around court flat-footed, it was just a moment of time that a small forward like Estrada Finlay was going to go, I've got so much real estate here, I could put a 6-story apartment block up. In goes Georgiadis. Hand pass going backwards. In goes Margaret Leone. Can't get the football out, and the umpire will take the pill back. If San Francisco win this, and if they beat the Seattle Grizzlies in the grand final, it'll be their 4th title in a row, which is 2/3 the way to equaling the Denver Bulldogs record. Paige Kicker on the ground feeling unwell. That is not a good sign for the Freeze. As the ball now moves towards the half-forward flank position. Almost a scoop throw out there to Katie Klatt. Klatt now kicks it long up the line. Estrada Finlay had it and it popped out of her hands. Hurried little scoop throw out there momentarily by Mania. Only went into a pack situation. Georgiadis comes down. The umpire calls for a ball up. Patrick is back off the ground and just sucking in the deep breaths now. Looking at the unofficial time clock in this second half, I've got it if there's maybe 6 to 7 minutes remaining, but it need not matter. Game over. That has sealed the deal for the San Francisco Iron Maidens. We will be doing 2018 all over again, an Iron Maidens Grizzlies grand final. 3-1-19 San Francisco, 2 behind Minnesota. That's San Francisco 19, Minnesota 2. Minnesota have been brave, but they have simply run out of gas. And the Iron Maidens are finishing all over them like a cheap suit. Now kicking away Gallagher. Marks on the ground, try to get a hand pass out while under pressure. Millie Bruce tapped it forward. Now across to Margaret Leone. This could get ugly. This could get ugly because the Iron Maidens are picking up some steam here. Mania gets caught holding the football, though. You can see the confidence, the momentum, the morale of San Francisco has lifted, and they're going to finish this one off strong. Minnesota, you can see the shoulders have dropped. They knew they had a good chance. They led 2-0 for most of that first half, and the dam wall is busted. You can see Page Kicker down there, just hurting from earlier, but I think the thoughts going through their head of, we had them again, but this time we let it go. Jessica Estrada Finlay takes the mark. She'll be lining up for goal for about 40 metres out. Breeze at her back. Estrada Finlay creeps in. Gets close to the player on the mark. Lets it ride on the breeze. It's good distance, but not accuracy. Minor score. 3-2-20 to 2 behinds. That's San Francisco 20, Minnesota 2. San Francisco 20, Minnesota 2. You're on Go Live Sportscast. This means that San Francisco will play Seattle in the grand final. You'll catch that 3 p.m. on ESPN 3. That's Eastern Time. 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Seattle versus San Francisco on ESPN 3. Here's the hurry kick back into play. One bouncing over the boundary line and out of bounds. Umpire calls for a throw in. Now, normally in Australian rules, what would happen is, back home in Australia, I should say, with the game, is if you're a fullback and you kick the ball back into play and no one touches it and it goes out, it's out of bounds. And the full, it's classified, even if it's bounced or not. And it's an opposition free kick. Page Kicker tried to get a hurry kick up the line. Now they move it up. Only for a player to run by, and Sarah Maguillon. Maguillon overruns the football. Maguillon got it back from the UN. Now put it on the right boot, going up the line. Trying to come in there as Mania to create the pressure. Kicker gets a hurry kick away to find Catherine Georgiadis. And her kick very close to the boundary line. In fact, out of bounds on the full when she's trying to find Oha. The wind taking it away. Because the wind does blow to the left-hand side, but more towards the pocket rather than the goal. So now with the football, Sarah Maguillon looks further ahead, looking for options. Gets on the right boot. Goes up the line, through the hands there of Mania. Mania got it back, and Mania got run down, but got the kick away to Brower. Brett Brower now goes for the goal square. Player comes out to try and meet it. Green is there, runs on. Yibbity yibbida! That's all, folks. That is well and truly blown it out now. 4-2-26, San Francisco. 2 behinds Minnesota. That score check again for you. San Francisco 26, Minnesota 2. 26-2 lead to the Iron Maidens over the Freeze. As according to my unofficial clock, we've got probably about 3 minutes remaining. When you're in a no-time on situation, you're really going to allow for about a minute for each goal. 30 seconds to get the goal, and then 30 seconds for the ball to come back to the goal square to be balled up again. And once you need 4 goals and you have about 3 minutes, it is mission impossible time. Hand pass going backwards. Sarah Maguillon. Kicked off the carpet by Segala. Hurry kick away here by the Iron Maidens defence. Is going to be marked. That's Segala getting back there again. Goes towards the half-forward flank position. Almost grabbed. I would have paid that. The umpire says no. Peterson didn't hang on to it. Katie Klatt goes chasing after the football. Picks it up. Goes for a run. Great athleticism. Klatt on the right boot. Almost hits her intended target, but it's rejected. It's knocked away by Ray Hale, who says, "You are mine." But the umpire says in the back, Ray Hale slaps the ground, says, "You have got to be joking me. And if so, you're not a very good comedian." And it will be a free kick going the way of Francesca Mania. Mania with the big wind-up on the right boot. Goes long over the head of Georgiadis there. Lizzie Even at the back. Even goes to Georgiadis. There's the hand pass. Close towards the boundary line and rolls over and out now. And we'll call for a throw-in. We are between centre wing and the half-forward flank here for the San Francisco Iron Maidens, counting down the time to the full-time siren. Going in there is Mullen. Close towards the boundary line. Here's the hurry kick up the line. Waiting back there and taking it is Margaret Leone. Her kick is good, finds Elise Gallagher. Gallagher on the right boot. Kicks it towards the half-forward flank. Knocking it forward, Georgiadis. Found her teammate there, Jason Chambers. Now the kick towards the wing. Intercepted, Gallagher. So Gallagher with the football. Looking further afield. Has a player screaming behind her and Sarah Maguillon. Julie ignored. There's about a minute to go in this game as Brett Brower takes the mark. Will San Francisco get 4 titles in a row, or will Seattle turn the tables? That's at 3 p.m. coming up. Here's the kick. Is the mark paid? Yes, according to the umpire. And that again is with Savannah Green. Talking about Savannah, there's actually a new USAFL club in Savannah. For those that are interested in joining, just look on the USAFL.com website, look under clubs. Savannah Green is going to be kicking from about 45 metres out. Well and truly soaking up the clock, or possibly soaking up the TV time, either way. Yeah, the grass, she's soaking up the TV time. Savannah Green. That's surely a fine, though, for the social club there, the Iron Maidens. Savannah Green. Inside the paint, unloads towards the top of the square. And they try to go for a snap through marks, and I think it's punched through for a minor score. 4-3, 27 to 2 behinds. That's San Francisco 27, Minnesota 2. San Francisco 27, Minnesota 2. Lacey even to bring the ball back into play. Dying seconds of this Women's Division 1 second semi-final. And it's all over! That does it for Women's Division 1 at the semi-final stage. After trailing for most of the first half, they kicked a goal just before the halftime siren, then they clicked into gear and showed why they are the 3-time reigning national champions. The San Francisco Iron Maidens, 4 goals, 3 behinds, 27, have defeated the Minnesota Freeze, 2 behinds, a total of 2 points. Coming up for you, for the sports fans that want to watch streams, there is just the one more game to come, and that will be on ESPN3. So again, all the games that you've watched via Go Live Sportscast in Field 1 and Field 2 so far, they are available on the page that you're watching. You'll be able to watch them back at any time that you like. For Men's Division 3, 2 and 1 Grand Finals, and for the Women's Division 1 Grand Final that we now know is between the San Francisco Iron Maidens and the Seattle Grizzlies, that Grand Final is coming up on ESPN3. So at 1 o'clock, get ready for all the Grand Finals in a row. Switch to ESPN3 if you've got that in the United States. 3 p.m. Eastern Time, the Women's Grand Final is underway. That is 12 p.m. Pacific. For those outside of the United States, it is a geo-block stream, but at later stages there will be some highlights and there'll be replays put up online. You'll be notified them at that stage when it does go up online. But to keep a track of the scores as they happen, go to USAFL 1997 on Twitter or follow the United States Australian Football League on Facebook. For fans of Women's Division 2, the Grand Final there is between Philadelphia and the DC Eagles. That game's coming up at 1 p.m. It is not live streamed, but we are hoping to film it for you, and we'll have that for you at a later stage. Again, congratulations to Minnesota and New York for making the semi-final stage this year. Coming up next, not streamed, but on this field, will be the 5th versus 6th battle between Portland and Denver. But we do have a grand final. San Francisco and Seattle, a repeat of last year's dance. Can Seattle turn the tables, or will it be 4 in a row for San Francisco? That's coming up on ESPN3. I'm Peter Holden for Lawrence Kuznechny, for Donnie Hess, for Erin Phillips, for Brian Barish. Thanks for joining us on the Field 2 coverage over the last day and a half. And until later this afternoon on ESPN3, from all the team at Go Live Sportscast, it's bye for now.